what's up, beautiful people? No ride jams today. I'm not in the car, as you can see. I'm inside, blasting the air conditioning because it's very hot out. So a couple of months ago, I was doing a ride jams and I was listening to this in the car. Jazz is the name of the album from Tony Bennett. This is a collection that came out in 1987. It's a collection of tunes that were recorded between like the mid 50s through the mid 60s. I don't know if they were singles or if this is like album cuts that were gathered up. I'm not really sure. But all the personnel on these tracks is like the cream of the New York City session world in those days, which was generally like the jazz cats. I mean, you got Herbie Hancock on here, Ron Carter, Zoot Sims, Chico Hamilton, Herbie Mann, Art Blakey, Elvin Jones, Stan Getz. I mean, it's like an incredible cast of characters backing up one of the finest voices in American popular music. Every one of these tracks is a winner. This is an incredible collection if you can get your hands on it. And so when I was listening to this in the car and talking about it on the ride jams, I promised you my Tony Bennett story. And now that the man has just celebrated his 96th birthday, I thought it was time to share my Tony Bennett story. And it goes like this. So in the mid-90s, I was a student at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. And one of my fellow Berklee students and a friend of mine was Antonia Bennett. It was Tony's daughter. Lovely girl, wonderful, real sweet, real cool, excellent singer in her own right, by the way. So we weren't like super close, super tight, but we knew, some of the same friends in common kind of thing. We would see each other around. We'd hung out from time to time, and we lived not far from each other, just around the corner. She was on Hemingway Street, I was on Norway Street at the time, very close to the Berklee campus. So one day I run into her in the lobby of the 150 building, 150 Mass Ave, the main Berklee building, and she says, "I'm having a birthday party at my place, and you should come." I said, yeah, sounds good. She goes, "Oh, and we're gonna have like a jam session, so you think you could bring your bass and you can play?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. Who's gonna be there? Just so I know who I'm playing with." She goes, "Well, Maggie Scott's coming." Maggie Scott at the time was on the voice faculty, and she was a really fine piano player. She's still on the faculty there? I'm not sure. But Maggie Scott's coming, and this one, and that one. My dad, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. Now, this is 1993. So my days as a touring sideman, interacting with, name people was like at least a decade away. So I was not accustomed to sort of personal interactions with, famous people, much less this guy, like a legend, right? But I was like, let me play it cool. Okay, sure. Play it cool. It's Antonia's dad after all. So let me just, maybe he might not even show up. Who knows? But, she's nice enough to invite me to the party. Bring the bass, I'll jam, I'll have a good time. It's all good. So about an hour before I'm getting ready to leave for the party, the phone rings. And this is 1993, remember? So there's no smartphones, right? So in those days, kids, the way it worked was you had a landline, and when it rang, you didn't know who it was until you picked it up, right? So it's Antonia. She goes, "Listen, I have an odd kind of favor to ask. We're trying to set up a mic for people to sing into, and wondering, is there a way that we could get the microphone into your bass amp?" Now, at the time I had a PV Basic 40, which had 2 inputs in it. So I was like, bass amp's got 2 inputs, not a problem. Oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, whatever. Okay, fine. So I get to her apartment, I got my bass, I got the amp, and it was like one of those sort of townhouse apartments where it's just like staircase leading up to like a single unit at the top, on the top floor, like the second floor. So I'm coming up the stairs with the amp, and she's at the top of the stairs, and she sees me. Oh, you're here! Thank you. Oh, it's so great. Thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Where do you want me to? Where should I put it? She goes, well, put it over there, like by the piano. And she had one of those like Roland digital pianos, like those. They had just started making like those 88 key electric pianos, right, with like the realistic sound. So she had one of those kind of set up on one end of the living room. So the apartment was set up that you go up the stairs, and then like it's like an open floor plan, like to the left kind of thing. So I get up to the apartment, and there's a few people are already there kind of milling around. It's early. So I see the piano, I'm like, okay, fine. So I put the amp over there. We get it set up like on a chair or something, so it's kind of like up at ear level. Get the amp on the stand, and I kind of turn to face the living room, and there's a couch. And sitting on the couch, in I shit you not, a suit and tie. I think it was a navy blue suit and tie, sitting on the end of the couch, looking like $1 million fucking dollars, is Tony Bennett. And I register like, okay. And he's got his legs crossed, and he's got a sketch pad out. And I forget if he had like colored pencils or pastels or something like that. But he's sitting on the edge of the couch, and there's like a flower in a vase on like an end table, and he's like just chilling, doing a sketch of the flower in the vase. Totally like not attracting attention to himself. Just like if you didn't know who he was, if you, I don't know, grew up like in the forest raised by wolves, and you didn't know who that was, you would think that's just Antonia's dad, just blending in. But there he is, sitting on the couch, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make a scene, right? Because that would be really unseemly to be like, oh my God, So I just, all right, got it. And so we go back, set up the amp, I plug in the mic, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, everything works. I put my bass down, and then the catering arrives. She'd ordered some food. It was very elegant, understated, kind of, casual party. She'd ordered some catering. There was a case of red wine out in the kitchen. So she comes out, she goes, okay, everybody, the food's here, so just, help yourself. So everybody starts like lining up, like sort of buffet style in the kitchen. Me, I'm a broke-ass college student. I'm like, free food, let's go, hey, So I go to the kitchen, and I'm like, piling the food up like Henry VIII, I'm only slightly exaggerating, but in any case. So I'm in the kitchen, and I feel a presence sort of behind me. Somebody comes up, you can tell when someone's standing behind you kind of thing. So I kind of glance over, and I see the cut of the suit, and it's Tony, like right behind me. And I kind of turn, and there he is, and he's a little bit taller than me, and he sees me, and he goes, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm okay, how are you? He says, I'm good. You a student at Berkeley? He's like striking up a conversation with me. You a student at Berkeley? I'm like, yeah. Oh, what do you play? I play bass, Oh, that's nice, man. What do you major in? I'm like, well, I'm a performance major, and I'd switched majors like twice, and I finally had settled on being a performance major, because all I really wanted to do was be in a rhythm section. So it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of focusing on playing right now. He says, oh, that's great, man. That's what I did, man. Good luck. And he's just totally like not an imposing figure at all. Like just so laid back and so down to earth, striking up a conversation with just some knucklehead in front of him. Really, really cool. So I'm like, yeah, thanks, and I'm just trying to play it cool, as if like this isn't the guy whose Christmas album we listened to in my house growing up like every year. It was like his Christmas, the Tony Bennett Christmas album, and A Jolly Christmas from Frank Sinatra, and like those were the two mainstays for us, right? I left my heart in San Francisco. I mean, how do you interact with that? But there he is, just like striking up a conversation with me, as cool as could be. So whatever, so we get our food, we get separated, I'm hanging out with some people, he's mingling with this one, with that one, we're mingling around, party's going good. And now it's time for the music. Everybody's had something to eat, and now Maggie Scott sits down at the piano, and the singers start coming up, one at a time. Antonia sings a tune, there's a little smattering of applause. A couple of other vocal majors, they're all, girls coming up, they each, sing a tune, and there's a little polite smattering of applause. And now it's time for people to start playing. So I get out my bass. There's a couple of guys who've got, the guy takes out a trumpet out of a case, guy takes out a tenor, and somebody starts up, blues and F, medium tempo, nothing too challenging. It's a very laid back, very cool, chill kind of vibe in the room. And we're doing an F blues, and people are talking and eating, glasses are clinking, and it's like, it's a party, right? Very chill, very understated, and everybody, guys sitting on the couch taking a solo, then somebody else is standing nearby, he takes a solo, and that thing happens in a jam session where you get to, like, somebody gets to the end of the solo at the end of a chorus, and then it comes around to the top again, and there's like a couple of beats where there's no solo until somebody jumps in, right? But again, very casual, right? So we get around to the end of a chorus, and it comes around to the top again, and we're wondering who the next solo is going to be. And at the very top of the chorus, all of a sudden I hear ba ba bee da, and I turn toward the mic. Tony has stepped up to the mic, and he proceeds to do a scat singing solo. Now, first of all, so here's Tony Bennett, like not arm's length away from me, right? Singing to begin with, but scatting, doing something that I've never really heard him do much, right? So first of all, the room goes silent. I mean, like all of the sort of like background noise of people talking and glasses clinking. I mean, it was like a sound effects designer finding the fader that says crowd noise and go, right? So he scats 3 choruses of an F blues, and it is killing. I mean, let's talk about any singer that's like known for the scat thing. I don't care. You want to talk about Ella Fitzgerald, Jon Hendricks, Mel Torme, whoever. It was killing. I'm here to tell you that this guy has got that tool in his toolbox, right? Dead in the pocket, rhythmically. The melodic choices, super tasty, like just, I mean, fucking perfection, right? And it was shocking to me, because like I said, I'd never heard him really do anything. There's like 1 or 2 moments on here where he goes, ba ba da ba dee da 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 da. He does a little, but 3 choruses, just kill it. And it was like, I got like a half a second to pull it together and just be a rock solid rhythm section guy here, because there's no drummer, it's just me and a piano player. So, and it's coming through my bass amp, by the way. That's the other thing. His voice is booming out of my bass amp. Perfection, right? And he gets to the end of 3 choruses and steps back, and there's a polite smattering of birthday party applause, but a little more enthusiastic, because there is the vibe of like, holy shit, Tony Bennett is scatting 10 feet away from us. And then we continue on with a couple of more choruses, a couple more solos. He just steps up, kills it, and steps back, right? Which I'll elaborate on in a minute. So then a few more tunes go by. We might have done like the birthday cake and singing happy birthday to Antonia. I don't know. But later on in the night, the jamming continues and we're doing All the Things You Are. Somebody plays the head, a couple of solos go by, a couple of choruses in, and Tony steps back up to the mic to sing the melody. Just sing, "You are the promised kiss of springtime." And he sounds just like Tony Bennett. I mean, it's like he just stepped up and sang the melody, sang the lyrics, did not embellish, didn't show off, just sang the once through, sang the form, and that was it, and stepped back again. And I was like, you do not have time to react to this. You just play those changes and deal with this later. And then that was it. And then, the jamming stops, and there's the first round of people leaving, which includes, Antonia's dad. And he's got his coat on, and there's a little crowd kind of following him toward the door, including me. I got a chance to tell him, like, hey, I was born in Astoria. And then we shared, like, oh, that's great, man. Yeah, okay. And off he goes into the night. So that's basically my Tony Bennett story. Like I said, this is 1993, so we're coming up on almost 30 years ago since this happened. And I think about that night like quite a lot. Because what was fascinating to me, first of all, the fact that he was killing, that he sounded incredible. Like so naturally. I mean, to just imagine. I mean, there's a few guys. There's him, Mr. S, the chairman. There's a couple of people that like what it must be like to go through life where every time you open your mouth, that sound comes out, like naturally, right? What a gift, right? And to be able to recognize that you have that and use it, right, to your advantage. But it could have gone either way, right? If you think about it, he could have either just kept like hidden the whole time, right? Just sat on the couch and like not interacted with anybody, just like be the invisible man. Or he could have like dominated the room the whole time and just called all kinds of attention to himself the whole time. Because like you and I both know so many people that achieve like the tiniest shred of success, they turn into like raging assholes who have no idea how to blend in to a crowd, right? This guy, right down the middle, right? He's Antonia's dad. He's at his kid's birthday party, and he puts on a suit and tie, first of all. And sharp. I mean, he looked sharp, man. Blends in, interacts with people, hangs out, and like, oh, there's music? Oh, okay, I'll step up to the mic and kill it for a few minutes and then step back. It was just like a master class in like, and not just music, but just like how to exist as a human being in the world. Just be cool and chill. I mean, everything that we've heard about what a gracious and warm and wonderful human being this man is, it's all true. I mean, just a gem. So I'm very, very grateful that I had this opportunity to interact with him on such an intimate, personal level, in that setting. So, so special thanks to Antonia for inviting me to the party, and thanks to Tony for being exactly who he is at all times. So that's my Tony Bennett story. Happy birthday, my friend, and many, many more. And listen to music, listen to music, listen to music. It's good for the brain. And remember what's important. See you in the next one. Be well.